Welcome to an edition of France in Focus. I'm Nadia Sharbi, and this week you join us on set in the fictional meeting room of TV thriller The Bureau. With its intelligence service, intrigue, real-world storylines and film star lead actor, you might describe the show as France's answer to Hollywood's Homeland. But as a successful export, the show is also an international hit in its own right, and the best example of a revitalised industry that has some serious catching up to do. Take a look.
You know, there's a lot more like me.
Came back.
American TV series are all over our screens. Whether it's on satellite television or streaming websites, they're hard to miss. Last year, 487 shows were produced in the United States. In the meantime, France is working hard to catch up and is investing in US-style production methods. The most iconic show in this form is Le Bureau des Légendes, also known as The Bureau. It has an annual budget of 16 million euros, and the end product, a show which produces one new season each year, just like in the US, something which was unimaginable just a few years ago.
Devons-nous conclure un pacte avec Dieu?
Another French success story is Versailles, with its larger-than-life budget, 27 million euros per season, the highest number for a French show. It's filmed in English to make it easier to air abroad, and the gamble has been a success so far, with Versailles being shown in 135 countries. Amongst other recent successes are Engrenage and 10%, which have been sold to Netflix in 60 countries. Yet even if they transfer well, French TV series face strong competition from abroad. In Europe alone, Germany, the United Kingdom and a number of Scandinavian countries are producing a wide range of high-quality television shows. But France are lagging far behind the United States, where broadcasters are fighting for viewers and aren't afraid to pay for it. In 2017, Amazon spent 3.6 billion euros on their series, while HBO, the channel behind Game of Thrones, spent 2 billion euros.
Well, we're now entering the crisis room of The Bureau, and certainly much of the show is set indoors. But from Paris to Marseille and many fictional villages in between, the charm of a French show has a lot to do with its setting. But it does take more than a slice of French life to make a surefire international hit. We went to meet those who are creating the shows you'll be binge-watching tomorrow.
Et action!
A quiet country property turned into a filming location. Actors are practicing a scene of The Art of Crime, a thriller TV series.
Ça c'est pas mal d'avoir un plan comme ça, tu sais, à la fin, Pascal. Ouais, d'accord.
It's the 19th day of the shoot.
Exactement, voilà.
They have less than 2 months to wrap 8 episodes, due to be aired in autumn. The main difficulty is to stick to the hectic schedule.
C'est mon histoire.
We change costumes just like at the theatre. You go backstage and you quickly swap your jacket. It's the same thing here. But in the cinema, there's more waiting around and there are more breaks.
Several scenes can be shot at the same time, which can be confusing for a newbie.
Et faites-moi courir les chevaux derrière.
The series director has to be on the ball.
Every time we shoot a sequence, we know that we can't go wrong. When you work on a movie, you might be able to film the scene later. But for TV series, you can't do that. For every scene and every shot, you have to be sure of the choices you make.
A challenge that the cast has taken up again for the second season of the series. For the stars of the show, round 2 is just as interesting.
It's exactly like a love story. At the beginning, things are lovely. The relationship might be fragile, but it's refreshing. And when the love story lasts, it's not as exciting, but the relationship is stronger.
And for a strong performance, actors rely on the screenplay. Marc Herpoux has written several famous French TV series, including the thriller The Witnesses.
A man in his 40s, breathless, runs in the woods. The man tries to hide in vain. There's no way out and the man gets caught. You see, there's no inner character here. Our job is to simply describe what the actor is going to do and what the director is going to film. Even if it's badly written, at least it's clear for everyone, rather than writing with style, something that will be impossible to reproduce on screen.
Another challenge, pleasing the audience. In France, police dramas are popular, a success that often influences producers and scriptwriters.
It's an implicit censorship. We censor ourselves. We forbid ourselves because we think the audience won't like it. They'll be scared. They'll switch off their TV. It's dangerous to go down that route, where people only want to watch entertainment shows.
Taboo subjects, production costs, constraints that could potentially threaten the creativity and the genre of French TV series.
Allez, ça tourne. Et action!
We're moving from the rigours of spy games to a more messy decor. We're now on the set of a brand new show that has yet to hit French screens. Vernon Subutex is based on the trilogy by celebrated author Virginie Despentes, and I'm joined by the show's co-producer, Emmanuel Osset. Hello.
Bonjour.
How hard is it to produce a show like this one here in France?
Toutes les séries sont difficiles
Well,
à
all
produire,
TV series are difficult to produce in their own way. But in this case, we are extremely lucky to have Virginie's novel, which is so inspiring, so powerful, and is also a bestseller in France, with almost 1 million copies sold.
En France, près d'1 million.
It's a very rich story, and it speaks about French society in a very gritty and realistic way, yet at the same time with a certain softness.
Réaliste et en même temps douce de la société française.
And there is that French theme. Do French viewers prefer French fiction because it looks at their own society, or is it still hard to compete with US shows, for instance?
Here in France, for a long time, we've aired a lot of American TV shows. It was almost a French specialty to broadcast so many American shows, but little by little, we're rediscovering the charms of French fiction.
Now, you're also working at the FIMIS, which is a TV and film school here in Paris, and you're the co-director of the TV fiction department. Is there a change at all in the vision here in France, which is a very strong vision, that cinema is far above TV fiction?
The importance of film culture, the fact that France upholds a certain idea of cinema, means as a result that TV series have lagged behind in France. And this stems most of all from a lack of specific knowledge on developing plots and telling stories. And it's this gap which we must prioritize filling, rather than getting cinema stars or cinema directors involved. That's almost a PR stunt in a certain sense. A good series relies above all on its plot and strong actors.
Une bonne série, ce sont avant tout des scénarios et des bons comédiens.
And for that, of course, you need money. The Bureau is actually on a pay-per-view, a premium channel, but other hits are on national broadcast TV. Is there a new interest across the board in financing television fiction, or is that at the beginning the premise of something there?
Moi, je travaille dans une société qui s'appelle Tetramedia.
I work for a company called Tetra Media, which has just been bought over by a UK channel that I'm sure you know, ITV. This was proof for me that French content, including series, is of interest to the whole world, and particularly Anglo-Saxons. Gradually, the evolution of consumer trends is bringing value to the TV series, and our ability to create different projects and bring together audiences around the world.
Des projets différents et en même temps capables de fédérer des audiences mondiales.
The arrival of Netflix on the scene is causing great concern in France. But it's also the arrival of globalization in the world of TV series. And it's clearly the digital revolution which is hitting us after hitting the record industry and the press. Here in France, it's beginning, and we're all becoming aware of it. We're concerned, but we're also hopeful.
À la fois avec inquiétude et en même temps beaucoup d'espoir.
And looking at the international aspect, you're behind the hit show A French Village, which is set during World War II. That was a huge export hit, including in South Korea and the United States. How do you explain that?
Because it was a series that we thought up ourselves, with co-creator Philippe Tribois, the director, and screenwriter Frédéric Krivine. We wanted to address the French public directly with a series about the occupation, whilst at the same time it worked well because it's a series on the occupation of France, which can also appeal to a much wider audience. And our idea here was for a real series intended to cover 5 or 6 seasons, and we ended up doing 7. And real shows which can appeal to a global audience are just that, series which cover several seasons. It's a dimension the French struggle to accept because of the cinema culture. Much of what are called series here in France are in fact mini-series, of say 6 52-minute episodes. Very few shows are planned in long format.
Emmanuel Lucet, thank you very much for having spoken to us.
Merci beaucoup.
And that's where we're ending this episode of France in Focus. Stay tuned to France 24.
Sur France 24, la nuit, on est très fiers d'accompagner les Amériques dans leurs soirées, de voir l'Asie se réveiller, et on est là jusqu'à ce que Paris s'éveille.
France 24 es más que solo noticias. Es libertad, igualdad y actualidad. Nosotros damos un paso más allá, con información al momento para analizar, comprender, poner en perspectiva y debatir.
Sur France 24, l'Afrique c'est chic.
In Live from Paris, our correspondents around the world keep you up to date.
Vous êtes déjà plusieurs millions et de plus en plus nombreux à suivre France 24 sur les réseaux sociaux.
من الطبيعي أن يكون شعارها الحرية وخاصة حرية التعبير في بلد حرية التعبير.